Anyone realize there's authorized modification stickers up here? I didn't realize that till now. Kind of looks like an egg. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Make It and Break It. My name's Andrew, and today we are getting started back on our Doritos Locos RX8. But first, we need to do some clearing out of this garage in here. So, I've spent the last long while working on our Hyper-10 back here. This thing's done for a while. It's not done yet. There's still some things. We gotta paint it and make it look all pretty. But it's mechanically done enough for now for me to go enjoy it and crash it and have some fun. So, we're gonna try and take all this stuff, which is not as bad as it used to be, and clear it out of the way so we can bring in the Doritos Locos. So, one second. Alright, I changed my shirt because it's hot, and moving stuff around is difficult, but car's in, and we can even get our motorcycles around and out so that we can ride our Project Hyper-10 or this, or even we can get the Ducati that's out there. Should be able to get that out and around and ride whatever bikes we want while we have this car in here, because it's about time to start truly making this into our seat time race car. But before that, we have to do a little bit more cleaning, because all the stuff that's in here, seats, interior bits, all this sort of stuff, everything in here, right? All this stuff is going to have to come out. And if it comes out into the garage, I have no workspace. Which means it's coming out into the workshop where there's literally no space. There's no space in here for anything. So we're going to have to clean this and organize this a little bit better so that we have some space to put some pieces. So we'll do the quick finger snap thing. Hold on. And there we go. This is much more like an actual workspace. You can see we've managed to kind of organize some of our stuff over here. This is our now fluid section. We've got it all inside a thing in case we have a leak. Most of it will be fine, except for this. But this I need to access a little bit more regularly anyway. Along with like our base materials and kind of like our universal parts and pieces. I haven't organized any of that crap yet, but that was way too high and it got hot, so I didn't want to do it. And then we reorganized both back there because we have a lot of crap and it was all just strewn everywhere. But also got ourselves cleared up in here because we have a new 3D printer coming in here. So I can take some of the bigger print loads in PLA off of my Raise 3D that's in there. But got our workbench mostly cleared up. We got to clean up a little bit of this stuff left, but I don't have a good spot to put any of my dies yet, so we're still working on that. Funny story. If you're curious about how much printer material I've gone through, these are just the dead spools. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 26, 27 kilograms of dead spools in there. That's not counting some of the partially used spools like the one that's sitting on that printer, and I've got 2 or 3 in here on the regular Raise 3D as well. So we've gone through like, 30-ish kilograms of material in here, and I've got a bunch more sitting on that shelf and more coming in as well. So we use a lot of PLA in this area. Ignore the clothes and laundry. But we're gonna go back out here and have a quick chat about what needs to happen here. All right, so I've climbed back into this car just to kind of give you guys the rundown of what's going to go on in here, because I don't know if I've really described the vision for whatever sort of vision there is. This car is a sports car. It's a small-ish sports car. It's pretty big for like a two-seater sports car because it has 4 seats. But I mean, those back seats aren't really useful for anything. But it's a small car for a guy my size. So a lot of what we're going to do here is to clear enough room so that I can fit in a racing bucket here inside the cage and not just be risking banging myself against the cage the entire time I'm in this car. That means pretty much all of the trim in here is going, including the sunroof. So the sunroof is really nice to have as a luxury item. You can open it up. I don't know if this one actually opens up, to be honest. You can open it up, get some airflow through in here. But this is going to be a race car. It's a seat time race car, but it's still going to be a race car, which means we don't need a sunroof. And if we can pull this out, I can gain myself an extra inch or an inch and a half of head clearance, because right now there's not a whole lot of space between my head and the bottom of this headliner. Now, with a racing bucket, we might be able to mount the seats a little bit lower to get us more space, but with a helmet, my head is basically on the headliner. So we need to get ourselves some more space so that my head's not sticking up outside of the cage when that thing's in. Similarly, these door cards, they're nice. There's pockets here, and you got your power locks and your window auto up, down, and stuff like that. These are going to have to go because where we're sitting right now, and including these back windows, where we're sitting right now, I'm actually going to have to go back a little bit farther just so that my legs are in a good, comfortable, like, racing position. I need all the space possible that way because there's not a whole lot of space left or right to move myself in a racing bucket to clear the cage. And if we can move and get rid of the door cards here and basically go right out to the door, like the metal skin of the door, maybe put like a small plastic piece or something there, then we can get ourselves a lot of space, like a good 5 more inches here of clearance between the side of my leg and the hard metal of the cage, because this is going to get a rally spec cage in it. So it's going to be X bars that are kind of coming through here, you know, on your side, similar on my side, because in rally racing, you know, you have 2 people in the car, so the car has to be symmetrical for protection of both people. Basically what we're going to keep is we're going to keep the dashboard, not the steering wheel, although I might try and figure out a way to keep cruise control. Oh, breathing's hard. Probably gonna have to keep the button for the hazards, although we'll put it somewhere else. Maybe we'll keep this information system, but all the rest of this stuff, radio's gonna go. We'll probably keep the air controls almost purely just so we can keep defrost on our front windshield. All of this is gonna go. These airbags are gonna go because your A-pillar bars for your roll cage are pretty much running right where you want these right where these airbags are. So all the airbags are going to go out of this car, including the ones that are in the seats. And all the back seats and everything are going to go because that's where the rest of our cage goes and all of our supplies and that sort of thing. So, yeah, we're going to probably start that in the next episode. I do want to finish this episode, do a quick once-over of the car before we start tearing it apart. Make sure we don't see anything horrifically wrong, because what I really don't want to do is get this car like 3/4 of the way apart and realize we have some catastrophic failure somewhere and we're gonna have to rethink this entire project. I do not want to pull another Project U. So let's go do a quick look around the car, check fluids, check the computer here, and make sure everything else is okay before we go stick our head in it. OBD port. I mean, every light is on the dash right now. We'll see what that actually is. No pending codes, no stored codes. Looks like our engine still thinks it's running properly. Whether it is or not, I guess we'll find out when we put it on a racetrack and blow it again. That's good. No horrific signs of water damage, although these tail lights have seen better days. Rear brakes look fine enough. Suspension doesn't look blown yet, so that's a bonus. Front suspension and brakes are in similarly decent, if terrifyingly spider-infested condition. Quick tip, if you're checking coolant level on a really old coolant bottle, this one I probably should replace at some point because it's just old and super yellow and you can't actually see the fluid level. Use your flashlight to shine in and you can actually see where the interface is between water and the air because the color will change. This is at full, so that's fine. Oil's a bit high. Also, I dropped some on the car. Okay, so we've switched here to GoPro Cam to look at these spots. So, looking at these spots and their location, there's really only one thing they can be, and that's oil. Which is not amazing, because that's oil all around, right up here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Maybe we can get in here closer. All around the oil pan, the oil drain pan in here. So I do remember the oil drain pan getting kind of beat up going in, especially this front lip kind of in the front over here. And if that front lip was doing a little bit of leaking, it could leak all the way around the oil pan. So we might be in for an oil pan replacement. Although the bolts just could have gotten loose at some point during shipping. I thought I checked them, I don't remember if I did or not. So bolts could have gotten loose. So that could also be the problem. So we're gonna have to throw oil pan on the list of things to figure out. Alright, well that's a little bit discouraging. An oil leak from somewhere on the bottom of the engine, probably the oil pan gasket area. But, well, it doesn't seem to be leaking a lot because I haven't refilled this oil at all. And it seems to be pretty high right now. So it must not be a huge leak, it just spreads out a bunch once it hits the ground. So it's something we're gonna fix, but it doesn't seem to be hugely important immediately right now. And nothing else seems to be wrong with the car other than like headlights and taillights and kind of some of that sort of basic maintenance stuff. So looks like we are a go. All right, I think we're gonna call it there for this episode, guys. A bit of a kind of walk around setup episode, just get our bearings back on this project because we haven't seen it in a while, and I also need to just inspect the car and make sure it's in the condition I thought it was to begin with. Anyway, next time you see this car on a video in this channel about this car, we'll probably be taking all the interior bits out and getting ready for roll cages and other racing parts to make this an actual race car. So stay tuned for that. It's exciting and a little nerve-wracking, but it'll be very exciting, and honestly, it'd just be nice to work on this thing after the long hiatus. So thanks for watching, guys. My name's Andrew. This is another Make and Break It YouTube video. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. And keep in mind, whether you're on the make it side of things or the breaking it side of things, it doesn't have to be pretty, but you probably should make it functional. We'll catch you later.